Good evening and welcome to Going for Two. This is the only YouTube podcast in human recorded history to feature a male and female host drinking our way through the important topics of the day, as long as they touch the football world and not in that way. I am Zach Law, and this is Fantasy Football Consolation Bracket Champion Sharona. We're recording on December 28th, 2016. How you doing, Sharona? And what do you have, and how many glasses do you have going right now?
Well, I had a glass of wine, or started a glass of wine a little bit earlier because we had pizza, and I like a little bit of red wine with my pizza. So there's that much left. I didn't pour that much because I knew I was going to be drinking a beer with you. And I am on my second or third bottle of the Java Stout, which is the coffee stout that I really like. Bell's Brewery. And it's very reasonable. I thought this was a 4-pack, but it's a 6-pack. So I have more beer than I thought, and it's good. And it's just a lot cheaper than Dragon's Milk.
Yeah, well, Dragon's Milk, I'll have to get used to the price differences around here because I suppose I owe you some since I think we had like 3 bets, and one was on the Going for Two auction, which I came in second.
All right.
Sharona came in less than second. Then we had the MFL 25 we got in together, and I had the lowest score of any MFL 25 in history. So you beat me in that.
What did I come in?
Less than, I don't know, because I don't know how to find the Going for Two games thing. That was always confusing on the MFL page. I could see the page where we drafted, but I couldn't see the scoring. But every week I got the score, and I came in a very distant second, but I'll take it. And so we did MFL 25. Yeah, Katie. Okay. Huh. But I came second, and then MFL 25, you kicked my butt. I don't think either of us finished in the money. And then in the Going for Two in the League of Laws, which may be renamed, you defeated me pretty handily in the Consolation Bracket Championship as my team was thoroughly mediocre, I think pretty much after week 1, the whole season. But the key news that I'm burying, because a certain someone can't get on Google Hangout, Don Funk, won the championship, defeating Jennifer in, I believe it was an upset, at least according to Yahoo, but you know how those Yahoo rankings are. But Don had Jay Ajayi, and I think Don owes, part of his championship to one dearly departed Rex Ryan, who left 10 men on the field with like 2 minutes to go in overtime, and then Jay Ajayi ran for like 80 yards and, won the game for them. And, of course, I turned my mic off so I can burp. It's a lovely show. That's the way it goes. And, of course,
I just want to say congratulations to Don. And I know that Zach has been trying to get you on the show, and it's going to hurt my feelings really bad if you don't come on. And we want to have you on, and I promise we won't eat you or anything.
Donald Funk, talk about a year. The Cubs win. Don wins this championship. He beat Chuck in the semifinals by 0.36 of a point.
I remember you saying that. That was funny.
Because I thought Chuck had a beat because Chuck had players left on Monday night, but it didn't happen. But I do want to introduce the beer for tonight. I got the lights like really in there, so we'll see if you can actually see this. I really like a bunch of beers from New Holland. This is their sour beer, so Sharona will love it. Mischievous 2 Sour Brown Ale with Peaches. Now, when I discovered that there's a thing called Sour Brown Ale, just excitement, #excitement. And this is very good. But it's very Georgia. We're the peach state, although for some reason we always import our peaches from California because we're stupid.
That's weird.
It's like, if we could have a fruit or a vegetable, let's get the one that's further away. That's kind of the way things work right now. But this is a very good beer. And not only that, this kind of bomber, the stuff I usually get like in the $10 range. This is like $5. So you get 2 for the price of 1. Come on, you can't beat it. And if you like the style, which Sharona doesn't, it's good.
I don't know that I've ever had one. It just doesn't sound all that appetizing. So a bomber is a size.
Yeah, this is usually about right. I would say it's a size of like a bottle of wine, but I don't think it's quite that big. This one's 1 pint, 6 fluid ounces, so it's about 2 beers.
Okay.
2 beers in
Uh,
one, and mischievous too. And New Holland does a cabin fever that I really like, and here we go. There's a star.
Say hi to Smokey. Hi, Smokey. Smokey,
Smokey
Smokey, Smokey,
seems
Smokey,
about as
Smokey.
excited to be on the show as one of my cats would be.
He's happy to be in here. Smokey's become my buddy. Smokey and I are big buddies, and so is Iggy. Iggy's over here too. You can't see him, but he's rubbing against my legs and circling the leg wagon.
Circling the leg wagon. So there's one thing about this fantasy season that I'm going to miss, and that's Jennifer Eakins outbidding me for her weekly streaming defense. And what defense, perchance, did she stream in Week 16, hoping for championships?
The
The
Titans.
Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
It's a total fluke thing, but I feel like every time there's been like a number one streaming defense, take the other team. Like there was a week she took the Dolphins, and then like they're playing the Browns, and the Browns had a pick six and had a pretty good game. And of course, the Titans just didn't show up in Jacksonville. There's something about those divisional games, like the AFC South, they just can't. They play like they played last year, and the Jaguars, I'll admit, did play better than usual. Like Bortles was hitting passes, guys weren't dropping. The defense was really tight, but that's because our receivers aren't very fast. Hopefully, we'll get one next year.
I mean, that's the thing that I was noticing. Everybody was talking about, Marcus Mariota, the wide receivers. The Titans need to get a good wide receiver coach. The Titans wide receivers cannot get open to save their life. It's ridiculous. And I don't know what's up with that. I said toward the end of the game, it was in the fourth quarter, I said, because it was funny, Doug Marrone versus Mike Mularkey in the battle of the ex-Bills coaches, although that list is fairly long and illustrious with the firing of Rex Ryan. I said that Doug Marrone out Mularkey'd Mularkey because they pulled that trick play with, was it Marcus Lee and Blake who threw the touchdown pass to Blake Bortles? Yeah, it was.
Pretty much, I think last week against Chiefs was an exception, but pretty much start the quarterback playing the Titans in fantasy this year and go for the receivers because Allen Robinson, I think they said during the game he had 100 yards receiving in the last 5 games. He had like 100 yards and a half. Mm-hmm. Of course, not only did the Titans not have McCourty, then Sims got hurt on a special teams play, so they had no depth at cornerback. Their cornerbacks are terrible. They're going to probably overpay somebody in free agency. That's just a wild guess at mine. That's what I feel is going to, who knows. But now the offseason begins. Yeah, the Mariota when he gets hurt.
Placed on IR today, I saw.
I feel like he might have been in the pocket a bit long in that play, but he could tell the pressure was coming, and he kind of like, okay, I'm getting hit. And then there's a little bit of a twist there, and then that was the end of it. And they actually were, within 15, Matt Castle, who he's got like a pop gun arm. I mean, I couldn't even imagine like him and Mettenberger. Like Mettenberger could throw the ball through the wall if he could hit the wall. That's the only problem. But him being in the game, clearly late in the game when it was a 2 touchdown and he threw that out and Ramsey returned it for a touchdown. It's like, oh yeah.
Yeah. That's when we turned the game off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the whole day it was just the defense didn't show up and the offense started slowly, and that's a bad combination. And they only got within a score twice.
So let me ask you, the offense sort of rebounded throughout the season from a little bit of a rocky, rough start. The defense was up and down. How would you grade the job performance of the coordinators this year?
Well, the odds has improved Although I wonder if they've reached the peak with the current personnel they have. When Andre Johnson was getting key snaps and Harry Douglas late in the year,
Well, did
there's
you
a little bit
notice
happening.
they went to Harry Douglas twice on a crucial one was in the end zone, I believe, on crucial plays, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I,
there's one time I think they targeted him deep and he was like double covered. I'm like, if you double co Harry Douglas, that should be like, ooh, thank you, defensive genius on the other team. But it didn't work. Yeah, Delaney Walker wasn't really that involved. I mean, he had a touchdown, and then later in the game, he got targeted in the one like in the end zone. That was that one where it's like, well, let's make it look better, but then they got stopped. And DeMarco
yeah,
Murray, either the offensive line got worse or he kind of faded at the end of the
I think
year.
he wore down. I mean, he was getting. I never understood why we didn't see Derrick Henry more, and I know DeMarco Murray was doing well and playing well. I think he wore down, and that's not if a surprise or a shock to a thinking person.
Yeah, I guess it's that you have a sure thing, nice 3 down running back, got that touchdown against the Packers, looked good, but Derrick Henry's got the young legs. He had a 3rd and 1 that he failed on, but it's kind of like that game where Mario didn't play well against Denver because they just never threw the ball. And if Derrick Henry gets 1 carry and gets pulled, and gets 2 carries and gets pulled, then he's not getting warmed up. And they didn't have the game script for that, so it was bad. But anytime you say something like, well, I'm disappointed about this game, it's like, well, when you think about it from the beginning of the year, of course they're doing way better than you think.
Yeah.
Even I retweeted like the Titans beat writers talking about it, and they were talking about, oh, we think they're going to go 7-9 and 8-8, and I was like, that's actually was pretty optimistic when the year started.
I said
We're
six
more
and
in the
ten.
5-6 range, seemed good. And I still want them to beat the Texans because it's division, and I'm looking forward to the Texans getting pounded in the opening round again. Could be Kansas City again. That'd be pretty awesome. Then Kansas City, his last 3 playoff wins would be all against Houston. I think that, and at Houston each time. That'd be just beautiful.
I can't figure Kansas City. It just, I cannot figure them at all. Hmm.
Um, Actually, they've been really, really hot, and I don't know what it was. They just stopped trying and stopped targeting Travis Kelce when they're up 14-0. Let Titans come back. But then against the Broncos, they were like pulling out the fat Tebow, touchdown pass, Dontari Poe.
Yeah, I mean they jumped up big against them early on.
Yeah, we saw the opposite of the Titans Jaguars game where it's like, oh, you're familiar with each other, so it's going to be a tough game. Yeah, Denver, they couldn't handle it. Tyreek the Freak, Alex freaking Smith. Yeah, I think the way to put the week in perspective is, so I was in the King of the Hill League, which is like Scott Fish Bowl, but it's just best ball, pretty much the same thing. Like 4 weeks into the season, I'm up by 100 points. I'm winning weeks 2 through 15. I'm in the lead. Last week, I was winning by 45 against Scott Fish. And this week, the final week of the season, he outscored me by like 111 points. He just killed me. He had the highest score of any team in the entire season, and I had the lowest score of my team in the entire season. I had great players like Jeremy Maclin and his exciting 3 catches for 9 yards line. And he just kept scoring and kept scoring. And I ended up losing by 70 in a league that I thought I was going to win. And that pretty much encapsulated my entire fantasy season and kind of the Titan season and definitely Missouri seasons. Not the best football season, not the best overall season. But at least we get to talk about it and drink about it, right?
Yeah. I actually haven't had a chance to go out and check and see how I did in all my leagues. I was in I was in 2 championship games in our consolation bracket, and so I don't know. But it was fun.
You don't
I
even
would
know if
have
you won?
to say no, I would have to say overall my 2006 fantasy season, was a pretty good success. I mean, I should have won our league. I had the best team. I should have won our league. But what's that noise?
What's that?
It's gone away now. No, that noise.
I'm just holding a beer.
I don't know. I'm hearing something.
The motor in my computer is going pretty high right now, so maybe that's it. I don't know. Am I distracting you?
It's on. It's on here. It's on whatever. It's either you or me. I'm not sure. Let me be quiet and see.
Can you still hear me? Am I good? Am I coming in?
I don't know. Anyway, weird.
I turned the alarm off my computer. But did you win any of these leagues? We have to know. Don't keep us in suspense. Do you even know if you won? That is funny.
I'll go look. No, I don't know.
My goodness. Well, if you joined a bunch of leagues, you got those MFL 10 like things every week, and you couldn't possibly read them all because they send them like 4 times a week. One MFL 25, I came in second. Came in second at King of the Hill. Came in 6th in our Yahoo League. Second in our auction league. Woohoo! And yeah, pretty much the rest of my NFL 10s and 25s are pretty bad. I would like to submit the one that we got in together, like for the Hall of Fame, for one of the worst teams ever, because my team was 200 points like worse than the 11th place team. It was so bad. I see the approach of the kind of beast behind you, so watch out.
He's gonna get right behind me and curl. Oh no, maybe he'll get up there.
He's like, "What's up? I could be quarterback for the Titans."
No, he could not. Bandit, maybe. Iggy's fast. She could get open. She could be a wide receiver. I'm the king of the world.
So my poor parents, their week 17 tickets went from really potentially exciting to like, oh yeah, we get to watch people in Tom Savage t-shirts. Be excited. My dad's actually a Pitt grad, Saying to my dad, and Pitt went to their best bowl game in a while this year, and they still played a bowl game in a baseball stadium. Like they played in the Pinstripe Bowl and lost to Northwestern. So way to go, Pitt.
Ooh.
They beat Clemson. Actually, I kind of forgot, much like I forgot that the NFL played on Saturday this week, that the semifinal games are on Saturday this week. And I'm not sure how I'm going to do with this whole football situation this weekend, because us and the Funks are heading down south to Jekyll Island.
Fun.
And are we really going to spend 2 full days watching football on the beach? I think I can safely pass on like the Sunday games. I feel like I can record and not find out what happens and maybe watch it the next day. But the Saturday semifinal games, I'm interested to see if Washington can keep it with Alabama and what kind of tricks Ohio State's going to have for Clemson. Is Deshaun Watson going to have his finale? Is future Titan Mike Williams, is that his name? Who's the receiver for them? Is he going to do something? So we'll see. It's weird. It's like you have a cat hat. It's beautiful.
Hi, Bubby.
It's like, just don't move that chair too much, and we'll be just fine. I'm just pouring.
He just had to see what was going on. Now he's settled down. He's just,
I gotta hold on for dear life, That was important.
He's just here for the party.
Well, should we pour one out for the Ryan brothers? Oh.
Sorry, itchy ear. I thought we'd pour one out for Marcus Mariota, but yeah, we can pour one out for the Ryan brothers.
There's a lot of pouring on out. That is a weird situation in Buffalo. Like, they fired him, and it sounds like the offensive coordinator they promoted in week 1 is their guy next year, but then they're like, no, we're going to start E.J. Manuel, not Tyrod, not Ty God. Do you notice that the 3 quarterbacks that have been like purposely benched for a year because guaranteed money, notice they're not so pale, Oh gosh, that cat, It was going to end poorly.
Cat had to get down. Yeah, I think that move says more about Doug Whaley than it does Tyrod Taylor or EJ Manuel because, they fired the Ryans, Robin and Rex Ryan. And, my impression, I'm an outsider looking in, but I just kind of feel like, Doug Whaley, their general manager, drafted. Everybody was surprised when EJ Manuel went in the first round. And, he's swung for the fences, on a lot of things. And Sammy Watkins, as good as he is, hasn't stayed healthy. And, so they didn't fire him. All indications is that he is safe, but I just wonder if the Pagulas want to see this guy that Doug Whaley drafted in the first round. How good really is he? And I wonder if they're evaluating him, and maybe he goes into 2017 on the not officially on the hot seat, but under scrutiny. Or maybe he does end up getting fired. I don't know. But we know what EJ Manuel can do, and it's
Not
not that
much.
much. It's not that much. And I
Figured.
like the guy. I'm all about him getting an opportunity. But you're not. I mean, Tyrod Taylor is a better quarterback than EJ Manuel. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. Well, I don't know. Maybe they would. It's always surprising to me how much disrespect Tyrod Taylor gets. Like, what he was able to accomplish with really not that much around him. Sammy Watkins was out for a while. I mean, anyway, whatever. It's funny because I was thinking today's Wednesday because we're doing this show. I guess it was yesterday. I was like, it really is weird how these teams can't seem to break the cycles that define them. Maybe the Lions are because, they're a better football team than they have been in a while. But, the same old Browns, the same old Bills, and it's like the same thing over and over. It is kind of weird.
Well, it's
And
hard to
with the
get out of
Bills,
that.
they've got new ownership, so I don't know.
Well, it's hard to get out of that. They hired a retread. Titans are
Yeah.
familiar with that, although I'd say their retreads had a little more success. I feel like Ryan probably is set, should be a defensive coordinator, but because he's been a head coach twice, he just thinks that's what he should be. He has a couple of tattoos to clean up. And I guess EJ Manuel should look good this week if you play week 17 fantasy because you're really that crazy. And EJ Manuel against the Jets defense might look good because pretty much everybody's looked good against the Jets defense.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
I'm
sure
shocked how
Exotic
bad.
Smash Mouth would have been shut down by them for some reason.
I still think Todd Bowles is a good defensive coach. I don't know, these guys who have good resumes go to these historically bad teams, like the Jets, like the Bills. Like, I mean, it's been a while since either one of those teams have really been all that. So, but I mean, when you go back and when you look at it, um, you know, it takes franchise players to be successful in this league. And when anyway, I don't know. Interesting. Shall we pour one out for Marcus Mariota while we're at it?
Yes, we should pour one out because I looked at his stats for this year. He had like 3,400 passing yards, 26 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Didn't have a ton of running yards, but probably for the best. As Matt Waldman has said, he's not really a runner. He's very elusive. He's just very fast. So it's kind of when he has the opportunity to hit the outside and do that. And he'll get more pocket awareness. And I was almost thinking that tight end from Alabama could be an interesting first-round pick for the Titans because Delaney Walker's getting up there. And just think of having two receiving tight ends out there and not the kind of mess they had behind Delaney Walker. Sorry, Jason Morrow. Did we already pour one
Well,
out for him? Because I feel like it's been a while.
I mean,
They cut him, or is he still on the team? Because
I think he's still on the
he
team. They just
disappeared.
Never you. I mean, Philip Supernaw is a super good blocker, and makes and Anthony Fasano. They definitely had an affinity for Anthony Fasano that he made some plays. So I don't know. I'm not in favor of using a first round draft pick on a tight end. I think it's dumb. No, I think it's amazingly stupidly dumb, especially if it's a high pick
So
in
we'll
the
do it.
top 10. Um, well, I'm sure Paul Kaharski would recommend it. He recommended Eric Ebron a few years ago.
Oh,
Hi,
Ebron.
Paul.
Ebron's
Um,
so
they've got
personifying. He
no.
just needs to
Listen,
be into
they've
the group.
got to spend a high draft pick on a playmaker on the defense, but uh, please in the secondary, can we? Huh? Hello. If they don't do that, I just am gonna throw my hands up and you know, say, "Oh, I'm not surprised." Oh look, they didn't do a smart thing. Well, imagine that.
Yeah, they haven't taken a defensive player in the first round in like 5 years, so they're due. I feel like Derek Morgan was the last one. Could be wrong. Looks like you froze. Don't freeze, Sharona. This has happened before. Come on, internet. Internet, come on. We do a dance for the internet. Do it. We can do it all day. Come on, internet. Oh, that's not good. Uh-oh.
Got a phone call. I don't know.
Whoa.
Hello, Zach.
Well, yeah, you froze for about a minute.
No,
Maybe
you
I.
froze. I was
No, you
sitting.
froze. I'm interested to see how the show turns out because I saw you frozen. I was like, no, this happened like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So something. So yeah, that was fun. So no tight end in the first round. Okay, what about a receiver? Would you bet for that? They have 2 first round picks, so
They need to get playmakers on defense. Point blank. Period.
yeah. Well, right now they have picks 5 and 16. Thank you, Rams. Thank you, Jeff Fisher. And at best, I heard they could draft the third if the Rams lose and things happen, and the Titans, if they lose, could be as high as 12. So 2 top 12 picks would be nice. 2 top 15 picks would be nice. And yeah, throwing a lot of help on the defensive side. And really, there's no position. Maybe safety, they're okay, but honestly, they can use help anywhere. So go for it.
How old is Cersei's getting up there, and so is Jason McCourty, really. They've got some young guys who show some promise, but they need a playmaker. They need somebody. They need a Patrick Peter, Richard Sherman. They need a good playmaker. Earl Thomas. They need somebody good.
Well, hopefully that'll happen. Go good players.
Jason McCourty was the 5th round pick, right?
Yeah, I think so, or sixth. They've actually had some good luck with late round picks. Like LaShawn Sims out of Southern Utah, he's actually looked pretty good. But I mean, come on, a rookie 5th round pick
Yeah.
who played at Southern Utah. If he's your second quarterback, maybe. But he hopefully he's in the mix next year because they haven't really drafted well in the defensive lately. They haven't drafted anywhere well lately. So let's do that now. I have one non-sports. I mean, we have to pour a couple more out because in the last week we lost George Michael, like on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. We get these waves on Twitter now, and that was one of the waves. And then we heard that Carrie Fisher had a heart attack, but then she was okay. Okay, we're good. And then the next day she dies. And I feel like of all the celebrity deaths, that's the one that's the most personal. I think the connection with Star Wars, but not just that, but that she was just a very open person about who she was. She wasn't afraid to bring the demons out in the open and kind of just tell people how they were. There's that Good Morning America interview where someone was asking her about losing weight, and then she kind of threw it back at her, and there was a nice little banter there, and it was like the "don't give a fuck" was very strong with her.
Yeah, she was great, and she for so many people, she was tied to your childhood and stuff because of Star Wars, but she was in a lot of she had a lot of she was a great supporting actress, and so yeah, sad.
Could even go chick flick.
But
When Harry Met Sally, she's in that.
I was thinking about that. I loved her
I'm
role in
sure
that
that was
movie.
what you were certain I was going to say.
Yeah, yeah. So
I have a sensitive side, or I don't.
you don't pretend.
Hmm. Yeah, it's true.
Hmm.
Uh huh. Uh huh. You and your
It's all
coffee.
right. Ain't nobody mad at you.
So for losing to you like twice, do I just have to get you a couple
Yes.
of Dragon's Milk, or do I have to get you that chocolate
Well,
Belgian
let's see. You
beer?
are no, 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 no. Let's get this straight. You already owe me recompense for the chocolate beer. That's separate and apart from
Okay.
me kicking your ass twice in our fantasy football league. And I gave you that easy win week 1, let you get some
Two and a
confidence,
three.
and then that's how I do. I'm an assassin.
I see
And
that.
so for that, you owe me a big dragon's milk. A bomber, I believe, is what you kids call it.
One of
You beer
these.
kids.
No, for
One of
bombers,
them.
that's not not unreasonable. It's like $10. It's fine. Although I really want to get one of them and hold on
A
to it for a
dragon's
year because
dragon's milk
I've
is
heard it
not
gets less
$10, I
boozy.
don't believe.
That's where I've seen it. Well, I'm in hot Atlanta
Well, see, there you go. You're not in the boonies.
on the boonies. It seems like you're able to get fairly good beer, and wherever you are, whatever nature preserve you are, that people are going to take
Well,
over.
I've made nice with the local liquor store owner, and we were chit chatting. I was in there about a week and a half ago, stocking up for the holidays, and he was like, "Yeah, bring me anything you want. I'll get you anything you want." Like,
Wow.
okay. So I'm gonna bring pictures of the stuff that I want, and he's gonna order it for me. So I should be, because I couldn't find an online place. I wanted to. You don't hear that interference? I guess it's just me. Um, so I couldn't find an online store to order from. I got okey doked by this place up in Chicago, and
Chicago.
yeah, and
Mail
so, huh?
alcohol. I know it. I remember we were out in like wine country, and they had like a map of the U.S. and they showed what states they couldn't mail to, and Georgia was one of them. I don't know if that's changed, but people just don't ship beer because we're weird in the South. We're
Well,
trying, but
I
we're not really trying.
used to you couldn't to Tennessee, but you can now. So it was like you can order online, and I forget, I found them through something. It's like you can order online and blah 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 blah. So I went through this, and I spent like an hour and a half just perusing through and looking at everything and picking some stuff. I was so excited. I created an checkout, create account, blah blah blah. And the only shipping option available was store pickup. Like, ah!
Yeah, you could get somebody who lives in Chicago to pick it up and mail it to you, but that wouldn't
I
work.
thought about that. I was like, do I
Mailing
know
beer
anybody
is
in
not cheap. I've
Chicago?
done that once. It's like
Right.
20. It's like
That was
it's
the
like half
thing.
the
I was
cost
like,
of the beer, and that's if you buy expensive crap like I do. Crap, it's good.
so anyway, so yes, you owe me a big bomber, I think is what you said it was,
The
of the
parlance.
chocolate milk. I mean, chocolate beer. And
Gosh.
then separate, you owe me a dragon's milk. And I still want a Game of Thrones mug too, because I think you owe me that.
Well, that's it. So we'll just ensure that I keep inviting you to come up to Nashville and you can't make it at the last minute because that happens a
I
lot.
made it the last time.
I feel like every time you can't make it, that's like one less beer up my tally. So I'd be like down to 8 or 7 or 6. I'd even get extra beer so I can get Sharona there. Maybe I'll eventually get one of these hard to find Nintendo classics and we can play some of those old school games.
Now, the last time I said I would try, but I didn't make any promises. The only time that I promised and didn't make it, it was legitimate. I could not. So,
Legitimate bullshit.
but I think that we may have that. I think we may have that problem fixed. So
sweet. Well, one of the best things about being a crazy beer person like I am is I'm actually excited about the beers I'm going to bring to the beach. And I got to bring the best bombers. Now, there was a beer by Wild Heaven that's a local beer called Ode to Mercy, and it's their brown ale, and it's got coffee in it. And they developed a nitro version that was in cans. And I left one at Don's house, and we had one at a freaking restaurant. I remember this happening. And Don said I left him the worst beer ever. Like, he did not like the nitro thing. Like, the nitro thing is kind of, I don't know, it's like less carbonation. It definitely changes the texture of the beer. So it wasn't that good. Well, I was like, okay, how do I make this up? Well, the Ode to Mercy special winter.
Oh, there we go.
We had 2 or 3 of their version last year. It's their brown ale aged on bourbon oak chips. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds yummy.
And you know how much I like to pair, so I got this from Green Flash. This is the Cosmic Ristretto, which is a Baltic porter with espresso.
Ooh, I would love that. I want that.
There's a lot in stores, so this is not a rare beer. You can get it probably anywhere. So that's like maybe the first hour while we're there, so we have more.
You need to send me pictures of this stuff so I can take it into the store and order it.
I need show notes. Now, this is one of the greatest things ever. Like, you know when you get beer and you're supposed to, like, age it, but the problem with aging beer is you don't get to drink it right away. Well, go to, like, a Total Wine, and you will find the Three Philosophers Cellared Set. Now, this is their version of Three Philosophers, but this is the 2011, 2012, 2013 version. So this is like a 5, 4, and 3-year-old beer. And it's only like $38 for a 3-pack. Like, it's $10 for a new one. So what I have is, let's see. Oh, this isn't even one of them. This is the Rodenbach Alexander. This is the
I saw that at that
sour cherry ale.
Beer store.
Amazingly good.
I think I ordered one of those because I was like, I'm going to order a sour beer. Zach's going to be so proud of me.
Exactly. And this is the beer I had on the show a few weeks ago. This is the Three Philosophers. White on white, huh? Hard to believe. Let's see. A little closer.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. The 2011. What I've heard is try a version 2011 and then try one from this year's. So this is this year's.
Okay.
I got the 4-pack because like a bomber's like $10, but a 4-pack was like $15, and I'm like, well, that's like 4 beers, so I'm like, it's a bargain. And this is a beer I got last year, and I had one of them, and I saved the other one. This is the Westbrook.
Is that all you got for Christmas was beer?
This is the I buy myself. No one buys me beer. I buy myself because I'm an adult. Okay. This is the Westbrook 5th Anniversary Raspberry Imperial Stout. It was really good last year. I bet after a year it's even better. So that's about, I do have a beer from Funky Buddha, which is in Florida. It's called Morning Wood. It was aged in maple bourbon barrels with bacon and coffee. So we might have that for breakfast one day.
Yum.
I mean, that was the thing. Like, we're going to Jekyll Island for a weekend. And I was like,
I want to go to Jekyll Island.
Do we have refrigerators in the room so I can store my beer? And they're like, mini fridge. I'm like, all right, that's close enough. All right.
So what's the deal? You're the second person I know who goes to Jekyll Island. What is the deal about Jekyll Island?
Well, apparently it's some like sort of hippie commune. It's not really commercialized. It's off the coast of like Savannah, so it's like Atlantic, and there's not much there. It's like a few hotels and a couple restaurants and a bunch of people just hanging out. It's not as I don't know. My friend was talking about I go to like the Gulf Coast, like Panama City, but I don't really go out that much. I really show up and just sit on the beach for 4 days and maybe cook something. So this will be fine. And the question is, will I be able to stay up till midnight? We'll see.
I will have to go with no. What's the over under? Because I'm taking whatever says
Yeah,
no.
if we have Wi-Fi, I'll do a play by play, or maybe I'll even like totally disconnect for a weekend. Woo, that'd be crazy.
You should. I highly recommend.
Well, I actually pulled a bit of a Sharona in that I actually submitted to I think FanDuel lineups this weekend. They were like those 50-50s, and I'm not even sure if they filled up because I have no idea if I won or lost. So yeah. Although I know I started Mariota and won, so I probably lost that one. I had a choice of all the quarterbacks in the league, and ugh, should have stacked all the Jaguars, unfortunately. But that's the thing. Like I had like $10 on there, and I spent two. I'm like, well, I could do DFS in week 17, but I feel like week 17 DFS is like preseason week 4.
Yeah.
There's only about 6 teams that are actually playing for anything. It's like Green Bay and Detroit are playing for a playoff spot.
Playing fantasy football in week
Washington
17 just
has to beat the
screams.
Giants.
I'm gonna
The
lose that.
Giants don't need to win. And I think the AFC is already set. I don't even think the seeding can change. I guess Oakland could lose. And that's another thing. Like Oakland had the same injury to Carr as the Titans had with Mariota, except they're already going to the playoffs. And they got Matt football to the McGloin starting for them. So it's unfortunate because they haven't been in the playoffs since 2002. I mean, the Titans haven't been since 2008, and who knows? Maybe we have another couple of years to wait. But for the Raiders to get in, and they're going
Now, who's the Raiders coach again?
to Jack Del Rio.
Oh, that's right.
Another
Very true.
retread. Yeah, there are a few of them out there.
Yeah. It was fun.
Belichick's to retread.
I saw that Tom Coughlin was going to interview with the Jags. Did that happen? Was that true?
I believe that's happening, and that's how many
That's
guys have coached
all kinds
twice?
of funny, isn't it?
I mean, we have an older freaking president come in. Why don't we have old coaches? Well, before it all falls apart, I can't. I'd say I can't imagine them doing that, but they might do that. They might think. I mean, really, Jacksonville actually looked good last week, but they obviously need to move on from Bortles. But what does that mean? Like, are they going to get a fire sale Brock Osweiler from the Texans? Are they going to draft a quarterback high? It doesn't look like this year's quarterback class is anything exciting. So I don't know. I don't know what you do.
I don't think they need to move away from Blake Bortles. I think you give him a chance, see what a competent coaching staff can do with him.
Yeah, actually,
It's weird. It's weird because, all these Jags players are coming out saying, we did this for Gus Bradley. We were playing for Gus Bradley. And I'm like, well, why didn't you play good when he actually, coached you? I don't get it.
That could have been something. He had a pretty bad record. I'm surprised he lasted as long as he did. But he's gone. I don't know. I'm not so plugged into who the hot coaching options are. It seems like the NFL's cooled off from hiring college guys.
Kyle Shanahan, Norv Turner, you hear the Norv Turners. Kyle Shanahan is obviously popular, and yeah.
Yeah, the offensive coordinator for Washington, who's like a decade younger than me. He's like 33 or something. He's supposedly hot. I don't know about defensive guys, but well, we haven't done this yet. It's time. No. Over it or nah. So, over it or nah, Nick Saban.
But that's a hard one. He's kind of become. I mean, he's a senior citizen of the SEC coaches now, and he's
Wow.
what he's kind of becoming what the old ball coach became, and so I'm gonna have to say nah. I mean, I think he's good for the SEC.
Over it or not, finally finishing off your Derek Dooley payments.
Yeah, I'm over it. Ugh.
What was that, 3 years? And he was so freaking smart, or his agent is smart. Like Tennessee's paying him, and any like college job he'd get would be taken off that. So he got a job in the NFL. Glory, glory, all these coaches. This isn't necessarily over or not, but we'll get a Sharona input on this. Staying home or going out on New Year's Eve?
Oh, definitely stay home. But I'm a fly under the radar kind of gal, being an assassin and all. And so, I like to avoid the popo. And so I think, if you like to enjoy some adult libations on New Year's Eve and you want to pour one out and toast to the end of this crappy, shitty, awful year, you probably should do it at home where you can pull one, tide one over and be safe and all that.
We'll talk about is it the best or the worst night to be like an Uber and Lyft driver? I mean, people are going to be going nuts.
I can imagine it's the worst because you get to charge exorbitant rates, but you deal with obnoxious people and other people on the road, and excuse me, pardon me.
The beer's kicking in. I like that.
It is. I've got a buzz.
I don't even remember what we did last year. We were up till midnight. I have no idea. I I think like since we've been married, we've gone out for New Year's once. We've gone to like friends' houses, and usually that's relatively low key. But
Now, how long have you
never
and
got
Allison been married?
13 years.
So, what is the 15? What is there's paper and do you know? I don't know those
For a football game, I
hierarchies.
know it's not that. Yeah,
I don't know those hierarchies.
you know those
Obviously, I'm not good.
hierarchies. Hmm.
No.
Well,
I know 10 years is what is weird. It's like paper or something. I always found them to be weird. Let's look that up.
this isn't the same subject, but I asked Don, and this was like a week or two. He wasn't the champ yet. I was like, "What kind of trophy do you want if you win?" He said, "A big one." So there you go,
Uh-oh.
Don. Although I think in honor of our departed awful, we have to have a trophy that you can drink something out of. So that'll probably be part of it. I don't know. I was talking big, like, oh, I'm going to get everybody who played a participation trophy, but I'll be shipping that all around the country, and I'll have to find out where the Sharona lair is, or we'll have to actually meet up in
I could
person.
show you, but I'd have to kill you.
I'll just get you the Game of Thrones mug, and we'll be fine.
There you go. That's perfect.
Those are in stores still. I see them.
So I saw some Game of Thrones news. Since you keep me informed, what's going on?
Well, the news is they've been filming. I know it's coming out later than last year because last year started in April. I think this year starts in like June.
Mm.
I'm really giving consideration to just dumping cable once football's done, and we've been watching a lot of Netflix. And I thought we were done after a month, but I guess we extended, so we're still on. I've been watching The Crown, so there you go.
Yeah, I don't have cable. I have Netflix and I have HBO now, and yeah,
So you don't even watch the games? You have no
that has to
NFL?
be. Hang on a second.
Uh oh. What? Oh, she's muting herself? Oh.
I pulled my headset out and put it back in. I don't know. There was just some weird feedback, but it seems to be okay now.
Don't be weird. Don't make it weird.
I think it's on your end.
It's probably on my end. But there is one rule of the beach that we have.
What's that?
And
No
that's
skinny dipping?
get up as early as possible and get there as soon as you can. Even if you can't check into the room, you have a cooler. You can still go out to the beach. I've
Oh,
checked the
yeah.
weather. It's going to be like 60s, 70s, which for December is fine. So, yeah, we're going to enjoy ourselves.
It
Just
sounds
get
fun. I
there.
hope you
And we're
guys have a
only there for a
blast.
week. I mean, it's Friday and we come home on Monday. So it's really short. But I don't know when our next vacation will be. We'll be in Nashville for my birthday to go see Drive By Truckers. So that's a hint opportunity for Sharon to meet up with us maybe that weekend. Just saying. I've given you 4 weeks notice, so you heard
I'll
it.
have to put that. I'll have to look that up and see. That's at the Ryman, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's sold out,
Okay.
but it's Thursday. I think it's Thursday night, and we'll probably be in town that weekend. So I'll just
Okay.
have a trunk full of beer, and if you
Okay.
don't have it, I'll drink it. I'll do a Facebook hangout and be like, I'm drinking Sharona's double dragon's milk with Belgian chocolate ale at the same time.
All right. Back to Don Funk, Mr. Funk,
Back to Dawn.
Funkalicious. We would
Funkatorium.
dearly, dearly love it, and I will take it personally if you do not appear on our show.
Okay.
I'm,
You tell
I
them.
might cry.
You might cry.
Yep. So, I hear Don wants to name the league Funkalicious.
Well, right now it's the League of Laws, but there are only 2 laws, and we weren't very good this year. So calling it the League of Funk would be fine. And I am serious about the possibility of doing like a live draft next year.
You know
We'd
what
have
we
to
could
find a spot, and we'd have to see who would be interested in actually showing up. But
you know what we could do? Suggestion, we could let the league winner name the league for each successive year. Let Don name it this next year. Whoever wins next year, name it for the next year.
well, I mean, it's Yahoo unless we switch. Yeah, I think that works. So it is done. It is said. Okay, let's find out who wants to actually come back next year.
It was fun. I hope everybody
I'm
comes back.
guessing Jennifer probably wants her revenge. Because all year she was
Listen,
grousing about how she had a high scoring team that would lose.
she celebrated enough beating me, so it's a moral imperative for her to come back. I need a revenge match.
Oh, do you? We'll try to set it up for week 1.
All right.
Oh my gosh, I just looked at our score. So so for the consolation matchup, Sharona 175.58, Zach 120.82. I bet you outscored the champion. Nothing else. Oh, my season, I was a C plus. No,
What's
actually,
my season?
Don scored 175.58. So Don did, I think, actually did outscore you. Let me see. Where's that stupid 5th place thing? Yeah, you scored 175.58. He scored he scored the exact same as you. Whoa, that's crazy.
We tied.
No, wait, that is insane. Oh my gosh, I'd have to see what the tiebreaker would be because when you have hundredths of a point, there's no such. So you could say that you're in theory, tied, but you're not. Sorry.
Oh.
That's one of the highest scores in the league. I know who had the top score in the league, but that was week 1. When you peak early, not so great.
Premature peaking, not good.
But you had a bad in fantasy football. I think that's a takeaway nobody's using is don't have a shitty week 14 because you have a shitty first week of the playoffs. Your season's over. And that happened to me in Scott Fishbowl. That week I forgot to start like Travis Kelce, and I would have been in the finals probably. And when I was watching guys on my team do really well, I was like, well, I had a crappy 1 week. There you go. Man, I cannot. That is something else. A tie. That's special stuff. So are we doing back talk this week, or are you saving up for 2017?
Here's the thing. I said I was going to do one more podcast before the end of the year, but I am
You said
not.
it.
I said it. I am not, but we are coming back. I know, like you said, but we're definitely coming back after the first of the year. Uh, you know, allow me to get personal for a minute. So, the toxicity and covering the presidential election this year, like we did on Back Talk, made me sick. It actually made me sick, and so I had to take some time off to get healthy. And so I'm healthy. I'm the healthiest that I have been in a long time, in a good while. And so it was a good break. It was a needed break, doing things that I needed to do and working on some things. And so we're going to come back after the first of the year. We're going to come back strong. We're going to be regular. But what we're going to do is smaller podcasts on a regular basis. And we were, for a good while, we were, twice a week, 2 or 3 times a week. We'll go twice a week, smaller podcasts. And so it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Well, good. We need you. We need you on that wall. We want you on that wall. Not
You
that
can't
wall.
handle the truth.
Yes. But there will be Dragon's Milk. In fact, I might just buy it and every week show it. Insurance, because you can get this if we ever meet up. It is waiting for you. I know I can get the Game of Thrones mug. I mean, this is Oma Gang. They do Game of Thrones, but this isn't the official Game of Thrones, so it doesn't count. I had a Game of Thrones one and I broke it. So
I would take a Dragon's Milk glass, too.
I've never seen one of those.
One or the other.
I'm pretty sure they exist somewhere. Okay, I'm glad that see, Sharona's flexible. So she is a benevolent dictator. Right? That's the kind of dictator you want.
Assassin. I'm an assassin.
When you say you are, whatever
I'm the power
video
behind
game,
the
PlayStation 4, virtual reality, whatever.
No,
bring it
listen,
on.
so see, Zach actually asked me about my video game, and I got all excited, and I sent him a picture and all this bunch
I saw the
of shit.
picture.
And so tonight, off camera, before we got started, I was like, "So did you look at my video game? Did you check it out? Anything?" He was like, "No." And I'm like, "Do we have anything in common?"
You sent me a picture. Like, what else was there to look at? It's just a picture.
Anyway, never mind. I did not. I told you about it, and
You're missing a foot. Looks like there's you got 1 foot. That's not good. Anyway, sorry. Probably shouldn't be looking at it right now, huh? I'm not helping?
No.
Am I not helping?
Now you're
That'd be
ignoring.
a good name for a podcast. I'm Zach Law, and I'm not helping. Okay. We're just going to stop for now since both of our glasses are empty.
Yep.
Don, figure your crap out. Get a computer from the 21st century, and we'll talk about what's it like to feel like a champion, because only Tennessee Vol fans really feel like a champion. We know that.
Live champions of life. What was
Champions of Life?
Champions of Life.
That is a good name for the consolation champion, the Champions of Life. Okay, I'll make it.
That would be me, right?
That'll be you. Yes, I'm the runners-up of life. That's actually worthy of nothing. Okay.
I spilled beer. Not me.
Well, good. Don't spill beer. Thank you for listening, watching, all that good stuff. And follow Sharona, Sports by Sharona, Saint Sharona, whatever. Zach_Law on Twitter. It's all Twitter all the time. So thanks again, and good night. And kiss my grits.